order. If everyone would please rise. Let us begin with a moment of silence to honor the 41st President of the United States, George Herbert Walker Bush, who passed away on November 30th. Thank you for your service to our country. May you rest in peace. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Welcome everybody to the School Board Reorganization meeting. At this time, I'd like to introduce Ms. Lisa Marcellus and the Elementary Children's Choir who will perform for us this evening.
We are the North Hills Children's Choir. It's made up of 4th, 5th, and 6th graders from all 4 elementary schools. We have 2 pieces to perform for you tonight. The first one is called Snow is Falling and Winter Wonderland. We hope you enjoy.
Softly falling to the
Chair, Ms. Marcellus, would you please ask the students to state their name and which elementary school they attend?
Hi, I'm Barker. I came from Los Elementary. Julia at Los Elementary. At Westview Elementary. Sally at Westview Olivia Graceman from Westview Elementary. Emily from Wen from Madison Elementary. Riley McConaughey from Westview Elementary. Kirsten Huckmeyer from Westview Elementary. Lindsay Isak from Highcliffe Elementary. Lily from Ross Elementary. Grace Breanna from Ross Elementary. Kate Patel from Westview Elementary. Maddie from Massachusetts. Charlotte from Ross Elementary. Emily from Westview. Lily from Westview. Oleana from Westview. Lexi from Westview. Abby Harold from Westview. Sydney from Kelly from Westview Elementary. Caitlin from Highcliffe Elementary. Emma Warner from Highcliffe Elementary. Maddie Morris from Highcliffe Elementary. Jocelyn from Westview Elementary.
Thank you very much. Chairperson?
I'll nominate Mr. Kelly.
I'll second that.
Surprise, surprise.
Yes.
All right. All in favor of Mr. Kelly being the temporary chairperson, say aye.
Aye.
Abstained.
All right, Mr. Kelly, you've been chosen as the temporary chairperson.
Oh, he gets a gavel.
Gavel on to you.
Don't hit that too hard. Stay away from him.
You get used to that gavel. That's right. You may not rest there long.
Great talent.
Okay, let's see.
Don't break it.
It's not on here.
Yeah, it is.
Here, send him this one. Send him that one.
Tom,
We did the temporary chair.
there you go.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I will now accept nominations for President of the North Hill School Board of Directors, December 2018 to December 2019.
I would like to nominate Ed Wilgus. He's been our president for so many years, but he does an outstanding job. He's very nonpartisan, and he's well-deserving of the position.
And I'd like to second that. I feel he does a wonderful job. He represents us all very well.
Thank you.
Any other nominations? I guess we would like to conclude or close the nominations for President. And we'll have a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and I would like to.
Thank you all. Thank you. I appreciate your
Congratulate Mr.
support.
Wilkes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Edward.
Give him a gavel. You can't have it anymore.
Can't have, we hit it one time. One time.
You made the mistake of giving
We
it
won
to
it
me.
up front.
Don't pass it, Tom.
Okay.
Charge him.
It's okay. You can have it. You can have it. You can have it.
Hit it one time.
All right, thank you. This time I would like to accept nominations for Vice President. I would be glad to, if I could, nominate Ms. Dee Spade for Vice President.
I'll second that.
Second.
Thank you.
Are there any other nominations from the floor? Hearing none, we'll close those, and I would ask for a vote on the nomination of Mrs. Spade as Vice President. I certainly nominate, so it's just, I make the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. At this point, congratulations, Mrs. Spade.
Thank you very much.
At this point, I would like to make a motion to accept the reappointment of Michael J. Witherall Esquire for Solicitor of the North Hill School District for 2019. The fees established at $750 monthly retainer and $120 per hour.
I'll second.
Second.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Witherall.
Hey, Mike.
Okay, let's see, I want to make sure, again, the next one is to accept a motion to adopt Resolution 2018-8, the appointment of Michael J. Witherall Esquire as Collector of Delinquent School District Real Estate Taxes as per the attached document.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, I will accept nominations to appoint 2 members to serve as representatives on the Northern Area Special Purpose Schools Board for 2019.
Mr. Wilgus?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Lou Nudi to continue as a representative.
Second.
for Beatty.
Thank you. Do we have another?
I'd like to recommend Tom Kelly.
Mr. Kelly? Okay. Are there any others? We have Mr. Nudi and Mr. Kelly. I'll close the nominations. There being no more, I would accept, I'm sorry, not accept, but I recommend that the nominations of Mr. Nudi and Mr. Kelly be approved.
So moved.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I will now accept nominations for a member to serve as a legislative chairperson for 2019.
Mr. Wilgus?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to also nominate Mr. Lou Nudi to continue his service as a legislative chairperson.
Does a great job.
I'll
Are there-
second that.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? There being none, I move to accept the nomination of Mr. Lou Nudi as legislative chairperson for 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I will accept a motion to designate the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette as the official newspaper for legal notices for 2019.
I'll motion.
Okay. Is there
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I guess that's the only paper in the town, right?
Basically.
We have no other choice. Sorry, okay. The next one is I accept a motion to adopt Resolution 2018-9, authorizing the filing of the appropriate affidavit with the Secretary of the Commonwealth in accordance with the Uniform Facsimile Signature Act of 1961 as per the attached document.
So moved.
Okay, is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And last but not least, I will accept a motion to establish school board meeting dates for 2019 as per the attached document. I'd like to announce that the April 4th, I think, I want to make everybody aware of this, that the April 4th, 2019 board meeting will be held in the Administration Center Boardroom, that's down there on 6th Avenue, which will be dedicated to Mrs. Arlene Bender, our longtime board member who passed away in August. This meeting, of course, is open to the public, so the April 4th meeting will be held down there to dedicate that room in Mrs. Bender's name. So I'd like to entertain a motion to do that,
I'll make a
please.
motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on the calendar?
Not to ruin our flow here, but
Sure.
I just wanted to point out that most of the months, there's only one meeting.
Right.
I had talked to Mrs. Rieger a little bit about that, and Dr. Manarino, I understand from her that that's kind of the way that things are going, where we're kind of consolidating our action into single meetings per month, and that's kind of to,
We've always done them at the beginning of the year, August, September, October, November, and December. And just the way the calendar fell this year with the holidays and with the way Beatty's calendar falls, and as you know, I'm the superintendent of record at Beatty, and we just nominated 2 members to join us at the Beatty board meetings. But we ran into conflict with those meetings as well. So we ended up dropping one meeting in January and one in February that's normally months that have 2 meetings. So that's how the calendar kind of worked out.
okay, that's fine. I just wanted to
Yeah.
kind of mention that. Thanks.
And we always have the opportunity to do committee meetings. if we
Sure,
so
yeah,
choose.
absolutely.
So
If we need to-
something comes up, I think that'd be appropriate,
So
obviously.
we'll
Sure.
talk about it more. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor for the meetings?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank
Second.
you. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you. Meeting of the public for December 4th, the work session and the legislative meeting. I do want to mention that the board did hold an executive session this evening prior to this meeting at the Administration Center to discuss legal and personnel matters. I guess we have to call this with the, we'll call the meeting to order. As far as public recognition, I guess we have Mr. Lieberman here. Mr. Lieberman, the floor is yours.
Today is my honor and privilege. Again, my name is David Lieberman. I'm the principal at the North Hills Middle School. But today it is my honor and privilege to recognize one of our 8th grade students who designed and painted the holiday card this year. Breanna Bench, could you come up here, please? Congratulations, first of all. This is for you, and this is for you also. Breanna is not only a scholar, but she's a great kid. She's the kind of kid that it is an honor and privilege to know and get to know these last couple of years. But every morning she comes in, she has a smile on her face. She's a great model student and a great citizen to have in our school, and I'm very proud to know you. So thank you, and congratulations again.
Good work. Congratulations.
Congratulations, that was a really nice picture.
I want to know that there's 1,000 people that I sent that Christmas picture. It was beautiful. Thank you for doing that for us. That's a bar soap. Congratulations.
No, it isn't a sympathy.
Pardon?
Congratulations, good job.
Congratulations.
Great job. I love getting your card in the mail.
So, that's a flash.
Unfortunately, Mrs. Williams is under the weather, so I get to do the high school public recognition this evening. And I'd like to invite our 4 commended students from our National Merit up with me today. I have Alyssa Agulia, Andrew Bench, Elena McGooey, and Donatus Masikas. If you're here, could you please come up here with me tonight? All right, 4 for 4. These 4 outstanding students have been named 2019 National Merit Scholarship Program commended students. The National Merit Program is an academic competition for recognition and scholarships that began in 1955. And high school students enter the National Merit Program by taking the preliminary SAT, National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test, a test which serves as an initial screening of approximately 1.6 million juniors in 22,000 high schools each year, and by meeting published program entry participation requirements. Alyssa, Andrew, Elena, and Donatus are among only 34,000 commended students throughout the nation to be recognized with this academic accolade for their exceptional academic promise. Please join me in congratulating our seniors. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations, good job.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you for the effort.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you for your
Great job. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you for your
Great job. Congratulations. Congratulations. Great job.
You sure?
I wouldn't steer you wrong.
You would.
You're welcome.
That little girl.
Card. That's it.
That wasn't coming out till
You can come to the front. All righty. Okay, next we are, come up to board member comments, if we have any board member comments.
I
Mrs.
do.
Reed?
I think this is a great night for me to bring this up. We're starting the year off, a new year, and I'd like to see possibly some changes made. We have committees, and this is the first year I have never received a report from any committee. I do know, such as like, Sandy, don't you meet with Ross Township commissioners?
No, I mean, we did that one time, but we don't do it regularly.
You only met one time this year. We never received a report about that.
Was that for the field? Was that where, I can't, I'm
I
sorry.
think,
I'm
yeah,
drawing a
it
blank.
was for the field. and
Meeting
it's-
last
Yeah, and that, we had to reschedule the next meeting, the follow-up meeting. So we're meeting, we have a plan to meet with the commissioners and with Amy Schuman to discuss some turfing updates to the field, and that's going to happen in January. So after
Okay.
that, I'll have some more information.
And you'll be giving us a report?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just would appreciate it if the board members when they have their meetings, that they give us an up-to-date report. I absolutely find nothing out this year. It's like I'm in the ozone. The parents out there know more than I do. So I'd like to bring that up, that we work together.
We haven't had any formal committee meetings other than the enrollment.
Well,
but
I
we
don't
did-
know of any.
But we did update from the enrollment.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments?
I had a comment, actually. I went to the Return to Hogwarts with my family.
Oh, yeah. How
It
was
was, the Hilltop Heroes put it on to raise money for CASA, which is a great organization. And I think they raised some, close to $5,000. They had something like 500 people attend. It was really great. The high school kids put so much work into it. They had
yeah.
kids like dressed up as some of the characters from the Harry Potter books, and they just, they really put their whole, heart into it. And they had to do it,
Pretty cool.
like over and over again throughout the day. I was amazed with it. So it was really well done, and I think the kids just put so much work into it, and I was really pleased to be able to support CASA by attending. So
Great.
good job to them.
And Dave Barkovich, too, who
Oh,
organized
yeah,
it.
Dr.
Oh,
Barkovich.
did he? Okay,
Put so
great.
much, he's an
good.
excellent Dumbledore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's good at that.
Yeah.
I understand there was a Quidditch game, or?
Yeah, there was.
yeah,
Yeah.
there was.
It was really fun.
A
Yeah.
what? A what game?
You have to be a Harry Potter fan.
Okay. Not Harry Potter,
I
sorry.
know nothing about Harry Potter.
Mr. Nudie?
Last month, I participated in the Veterans Roundtable at the middle school, and as usual, it's a very, very fine event. And this year was the highlight of the 4 or 5 years I've been doing it. I finally found a student who understood the word logistics.
Who chairs that, Lou? Who chairs that? Who puts that all together?
Nate Wilkerson.
Nate Wilkes, okay, great. Thank you for that. Thanks, David. Any other board member comments? Okay, there being none, public comments on the agenda items only. Lori, I don't know if anybody signed
I
up to
didn't
speak?
see that anyone signed up.
The standing room only crowd, nobody here to speak, okay. All righty, thank you. We can now move on then to the approval of the minutes, and, let's see, I want to make sure I got this right. I'm going to make a motion that the board approve the minutes from the November 8th, 2018 work session and legislative meeting per the attached.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the minutes? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have anything from the solicitors?
We dealt with it in executive session.
Okay, thank you so much. Olaf, are you flying solo again tonight? All right, if it's all yours for the student activity report.
Okay, so the holiday season has begun in North Hills. Starting December off, the music department has and is continuing to have a lot of different performances this month. Last week, I believe the band performed, and they also have another performance this upcoming week, I believe tomorrow night actually, in the high school. And then the North Hills Singers and a couple other choirs also began their holiday tour of between 10 and 12 performances this month. There are going to be a few other concerts going on this month as well. The Chamber Strings had their holiday concert. That's who had it last week, last Friday evening it was.
Oh, good.
And the bands and choirs are preparing for their concerts later in the month. In addition, this past Sunday, the annual Barnes & Noble Book Fair that the English department hosts went on. It took place in a different location this year. It was in Cranberry instead of in Fox Chapel, I believe it was. And there were different activities that students and parents alike could go and visit. They could see student readers read to their children. They could also see,
That's a nice gift.
they could meet local authors and talk with them, as well as enjoy a constant flow of performances from the Chamber Strings, the North Hills Singers, and I believe a few local performers as well. Then finally, as we move out of the slumps of our Thanksgiving break, which concluded a couple weeks ago, we move into the rapidly approaching Christmas and holiday break, and I think I can speak for all of us when I say we are ready for that.
Good for you, absolutely. That's great. Thank you all, appreciate it. We can now move on to the superintendent's report, points of pride. Dr. Manarino, you got the floor.
Thank you. Olaf? I mean, ready as in your shopping's all done and everything, ready to go, or ready for a break?
Oh, ready for a break.
Okay. I'm here to share with you our points of pride for the month of November of 2018. Ross Elementary kindergarten students combine reading, writing, public speaking, respect for peers, and creativity skills into a book pumpkin project. Each student chose a book, used a pumpkin to create a character from the story, and answered a variety of questions about their chosen story. Fitting topic in Mr. Cassandro's class, high school students in Jim Cassandro's Engineering Drawing Design 2 class tested carefully researched, designed, and constructed cardboard buildings on the North Hills Earthquake Simulator. Each structure had to withstand 30 seconds of stress from the simulator to be deemed a success. McIntyre Elementary first grade students in Carol Richter's class enjoyed homemade holiday dishes from 11 different nations during their multicultural Thanksgiving feast. Our gifted education fourth graders participated in the annual Science Olympiad, and teams competed in challenging hands-on activities that reinforced various science concepts, inquiry skills, problem-solving abilities, and the scientific process. The North Hills Music Department is holding their winter concerts, celebrating the holiday season all month long. A full list of dates and times are available on the district's website. The North Hills Chorus will hold their annual Madrigal Dinner on December 8th. Tickets are $15 for adults, $10 for students, and can be reserved online. Reservations are strongly recommended for this festive evening of food and entertainment. Highcliffe Elementary students celebrated Veterans Day by supporting charitable causes that help veterans and U.S. troops during the day of service. Every Highcliffe student partnered with a veteran or member of the U.S. Armed Services to take part in a service activity. The service activities were made possible by donations from Highcliffe families, staff members, and area business leaders. McIntyre Elementary second graders in Michelle Kress's classroom partnered with their fifth grade buddies from Rebecca Good's class to make Thanksgiving cards and placemats for Meals on Wheels. The North Hills Middle School staff members joined the hashtag Be the Kind Kid movement to promote the importance of kindness in our buildings. They will be wearing their shirts throughout the year to spread this message. Food drives help to provide Thanksgiving meals for nearly 200 North Hills School District families in need. The drives were coordinated by the High School National Honor Society, the Class Officers and Hands for Service Club, and the Middle School Service Club. The middle school unveiled a Unity Rock Garden. The multi-tiered garden features white and orange rocks decorated with the initials of hundreds of students who pledged to stand up and not stand by to bullying. Westview Elementary sixth graders continued their tradition of attending the Veterans Day Parade in downtown Pittsburgh. They showed their appreciation for veterans and U.S. troops with homemade signs. High school students and staff members decorated hundreds of rocks that were donated to the Tree of Life Synagogue and distributed throughout Squirrel Hill. Students also collected donations to benefit charitable organizations supporting the Squirrel Hill community. McIntyre Elementary first graders partnered with their sixth grade buddies to create turkey tissue boxes and placemats for residents at the Haven in Ross Township. High school students in the Environmental Club, GSA, and German Club came together to play a few innings of kickball to raise money for charity. McIntyre Elementary third graders created a veterans wall with stars honoring family and friends who are veterans, as well as stars for Officer Mutch and Computer Tech Ed Porter. High school varsity club student athletes spent the morning reading books and answering questions about their sports with kindergarten and first grade classes at Westview, McIntyre, Ross, and Ross Elementary schools. Highcliffe Elementary students celebrated World Kindness Day by painting kindness rocks and creating bookmarks for Carnegie Library and Squirrel Hill Northland Library and the Shaler North Hills Library. And those are our points of pride, tradition, and excellence for the month of November.
Thank you, Dr. Manarino. Okay, we can now move on to education. Mrs. Mathis, looks like you have a few things going there.
A couple of things, thank you. The first two items are a request for the board to approve the 2019 to 2020 high school program of studies per the attached, and the 2019 to 2020 Middle School Program of Studies per the attached. Some of the highlights in the Middle School Program of Studies include the addition of 4 new math classes, Math 7C, 7D, 8C, and 8D. And then there's also a request for the board to approve the letter of agreement renewal between Presley Ridge and the North Hills School District. This is an agreement that Presley Ridge and the North Hills School District will coordinate the services for children and their families that are being served by both parties. Both parties agree that they will work together to provide the best service possible. The superintendent recommends, and I so move, that the board approve education items 1 through 3.
Second.
Is there any discussion? The Presley Ridge thing, Jeff, is that you, or is it, who can tell us just a brief, what goes on there between us and Presley Ridge, just an overview, nothing.
Sure. Presley Ridge is a private entity,
Right.
and they basically take some of our students who have special needs.
Right.
And if we can't meet their needs here, then they will attend Presley Ridge.
Oh, okay. Okay, so it's like, all right, it's kind of like, okay, fine. All right, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mrs. Mathis. We can now move on to athletics and activities. Ms. Kazera?
Yeah, I have 2 items. The first is the resolution 2018-10, recognizing the North Hills Drama Parents and Friends Association as a booster organization of the North Hills School District. This association constitutes a charitable organization as defined in the Local Options Small Games of Chance Act, and seeks approval as an official booster organization. The second is a field trip request from the competition cheerleading squad. They won 2 bids to qualify for the national competition, which will be held in Orlando, Florida, from February 7th through 11th, 2019. And they would be missing 2.5 days of school for this field trip, which is at no cost to the district because the participants are paying for their own attendance at the competition. So the superintendent recommends, and I so move that the board approve athletics and activities items 1 and 2.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
For those that don't know, I am going to oppose, as I always do, the field trip. I just feel that any time when there's more than a day of school that's missed, I just can't support that. In this case, it's 2.5 days of school, and I won't support that. So I'll be voting no on the second item.
Thank you, Mr.
You want to rethink that real fast? I'll give you a minute. Okay. You got that, Lori? I do. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. We can now move on to A.W. Beatty. Mr. Nudi, do you have anything that we need to add there? I know we don't have anything for action items at this point, but I didn't know if you have anything you want to add about Beatty.
Nothing for information.
Okay. Thank you. We can move on to personnel. That would be Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Wilgus. Personnel items are discussed in executive session. Therefore, the superintendent recommends, and I so move, that the board approve personnel items 1 through 4.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. As far as community and intergovernmental relations, Mrs. Reed, looks like we don't have anything for the meeting tonight.
No, there are no items.
Okay, thank you. As well as legislative, Mr. Nudi, no updates that you would care to add?
Well, there's a new legislature seated now, so we'll be starting from ground zero on new legislation. However, the PDE did announce the procedures and policy involved in the new Future Ready PA program. This will be replacing the school performance profile. And I think, Dr. Manarino, maybe we should be given an update on how this thing works as opposed to the
Sure, we can do that in
performance
January.
profile. Pardon me?
We can do that in January. I know Jeff has a lot of good information about it, so we'll make it a part of the education committee
Okay.
presentation in January.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Mr. Nudi. You still have the floor for policy.
Okay, there are 4 items up for the second reading. First is adoption of policy 006, dealing with meetings. Second is, second reading and adoption is policy 201, admission of students. Third is second reading and adoption policy 234, anti-hazing revisions. And fourth is a second reading and adoption of new policy 626, procurement code of conduct.
Okay. Well, so
Any
we.
comments?
Yeah, I'm going to say if you have, go ahead. I was going to take a motion first and then make comments.
Okay.
That's okay. Okay?
Sure.
You making a motion, Mr. Nudi?
I'd like to have a motion to approve policy items 1 through 4.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. And now, any discussion?
Yes, I don't think we covered this last time, but regarding policy 006, Dr. Manarino, can you please just, because we had a couple of questions from the public on that, explain where that came from?
Yeah, it's simply the new law that allows us to talk about safety and security as a matter of executive session. So if you read through the policy, it's going to take you all the way to page 5 before you find the change of one sentence that was added to it, adding one item under executive session as to allowable items of discussion.
Okay, thank you. And my second question is regarding policy 201. I understand that you have an idea for an implementation sort of
And I have that
timeline for
attached,
that.
as I said when we spoke the last time, that I would do an administrative guideline. So there's an administrative guideline attached to the policy with its approval. And it simply reads that policy 201, as revised on 12/4/2018, shall take full effect with the admission requirements for the 2021 school year. Admission requirements for the 1920 school year shall be a child who is a 5th birthday in the month of August and is seeking admission to kindergarten shall take the kindergarten readiness assessment, and if the child passes the assessment, they shall be granted admission to kindergarten. And if the child does not pass, the parent may request a conference with the superintendent to discuss the results and then decide whether or not they will be enrolled in kindergarten at the time. So this allows that window, since, it's December 4th, we passed the program of studies, which basically says we are preparing to schedule for next school year as our parents are going to be preparing for kindergarten registration that's in February. This allows us to have a little bit of a gray area as we enter into the process and to be able to work with families who, under the current policy, before approved, were planning to send their child to kindergarten next year but may have an August birthday. Just from past records, we're talking anywhere between 15 and 20 students that are going to fall into that category right now. But we're going to a readiness assessment. I think it's something that the district needs to do anyways. And with this particular group that, as the policy is currently written, would be early admission. Their early admission for 1920 shall be take the readiness assessment. If it says they're ready, they're ready. If it says they're not, we'll sit down and talk about it.
Thank you.
I know you had some, does this address your concerns?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
It does
good.
address
All
my
right.
concerns.
All right,
Thank you.
good.
I wanted to mention, with respect to this policy, a few people reached out to me after our meeting last time, and everybody that I talked to was very much in favor of it. I didn't hear anybody that had any concerns about implementing this policy
Good.
with kids about that
Yeah,
age
sure.
that would be
Kind of
affected or
right in
have
there.
recently been affected by that kind of thing. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that that's the kind of feedback I got, and I'm happy to hear that because I'm excited about it.
Yeah, good. Mr. Hosen, thanks to your folks, the NHA, for providing input on that. That was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah,
I do
thanks
appreciate
very
that.
much.
Yeah,
That
it
was,
very
yeah.
good. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am?
In regard to that policy 201,
Mhm.
I believe the teachers, the administrators worked very hard to put this together, that a change needed to be made. I do not approve, nor would I want to see us extend the time on it for the incoming. Because there's a lot it take into consideration there. It says in the policy that a parent can insist the child be enrolled.
Well, there's some assessment issues.
They can actually have them enrolled. Would it include them? I'm talking about the kids that are 5 coming in.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
It's the way I read it. Go on.
I mean, there has to be assessments that they have to go through.
Right. They take the
Right.
readiness assessment. However, if a child does not pass it,
Right.
a parent can insist that that child be enrolled in school. Am I
That's
correct, Dr. Manarino?
That's
I
for
read
the
it.
transition period.
Yeah, that's I'm sorry, yeah, that's
Yeah.
just for this coming year for the transition period, which we're giving them that opportunity which they've always had, but following The next year, they don't have that option.
Well, I believe that knowing these parents, come that following year, they're going to want the same thing.
Well, they can't because.
Well, we say
because,
that. We
well,
never follow through with
well,
what we say we're
but
going to do.
on this one, that'll be the policy, so.
But that's what the guideline says right at the beginning, that
Right.
for the 2021 school year.
Right.
The policy shall be as written.
Right.
This is for just
This coming year.
next school year.
Right, yeah, so that gives the parents that are kind
God
of in that.
bless you.
in
I
that-
hope it works that way for you.
Yeah, it
That
will.
the parents are going to come that year and say, wait a minute, you did it for them last year. We want it extended this year.
Do
I've
we
been
have any-
around many years and
Well,
see it
we-
happen.
Do we have any plans to do any sort of like publicity or promotion around this, just an awareness so that parents know that this change is happening? I think that's
Yeah.
fine, yeah.
And we normally, because Jeff, is it you
Well,
that
we're
put out
about
a
to get
whole
into the
bunch of?
kindergarten registration
Yeah.
season, where there's gonna be
Right.
a lot of documents going out from the district about kindergarten registration. So Amanda and I even talked today about how to word this piece into the releases that are gonna go out about kindergarten registration. So
Great.
it'll be clear.
Okay.
Well, if you're attaching that to the policy, I'm going to have to vote no on it.
But you mean the first period, I mean, just
Reading.
just the okay, all right, that's fine.
Wait, what are we-
So is there any
What-
other,
Yeah, what is that? Is that the administrative guideline?
yeah,
Okay.
well, I
Wait,
understand.
I thought that this
not-
was the second reading in the adoption.
only
of
That's
the-
what I thought too.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is
it
the
is the
second
adoption.
reading.
We need another reading.
This
Oh,
is, no,
this
this
is
is.
the
No,
second
this,
reading.
this
This
is
is
for
the
adoption.
second
This is for adoption, but Kathy says she's going to vote no
But
as
She
it
doesn't like
reads.
the
Right.
attachment.
Isn't
Right.
the administrative guideline not part of the policy, though?
It goes with the policy, because as I had said last week, that I'll put an administrative guideline that's going to explain that basically the board is approving the policy, but is also approving me to go outside the bounds of the policy for next school year. That's
Okay.
why the administrative guideline is important, because based upon the wording of the policy, without you approving the administrative guideline, I'm going to violate the policy by allowing
Right.
the 5-year-olds in August into kindergarten.
Got
So
it.
that's why the guideline and the policy are important together. So you can either approve the policy, and we go from there, or you approve the policy and the administrative guideline, giving everybody a year
Which is what we're asking to
a
do.
year of relief.
Right, which is what
I
we're
mean, it
asking.
gives
to
them
do.
the
I-
option to
policy.
apply for relief. It doesn't guarantee relief.
Correct.
It
Right.
means that we'll
Okay,
work
so
with them.
I
on it.
think that's where maybe the confusion is, because if I think I'm reading it right, what Mrs. Reed is saying is it's not, the way this is written, it doesn't sound like it's Dr. Manarino's decision. It sounds like it's the parent's decision, right?
Yeah.
So what you, but yet I thought that what we just heard was that you can apply for Dr. Manarino to decide. So can we look at the language? Maybe it's that last language. I mean, is it, whose decision do we want it to be? That's what you're stuck on, right, Mrs. Reed? Whose
Correct.
decision do we want it to be when they apply for a waiver?
I don't believe any parent should
It's-
insist that
that's the
we have to accept that child, especially if it's one of those ones that are under the age, and we're giving them an extension, a courtesy extension. It's wrong.
Well, I
We
think,
bow down to the parents constantly, and we're
I
led
gave
to
this,
give
I gave it to
stuff
the right of
us.
the parent. I will
Okay.
meet with them,
I just
I will
wanted you to
discuss the
clarify
results
it.
of the
Okay.
kindergarten assessment. Let's just put this in the scenario where the child fails the kindergarten readiness assessment. I'll have a conversation with the parents about why the assessment, and we believe the child is not ready for kindergarten. If they want them to come to kindergarten, we'll leave that decision up to them, because they would have been eligible.
For this year.
If we
Just for
did
this
not
year
change
only.
the policy, that
Right.
child is eligible.
Right.
Under the old policy.
Right.
So I left the decision in the hands of the parent.
Which gives those parents that are affected this year so that they weren't taken by surprise. That was the
So
whole
they
idea.
have
Because of
enough,
the
a year,
financial
so they
burden.
have some
Right.
time to make plans.
Okay.
Okay, but so
All
the,
right.
so the decision is only in their hands, I just want to be clear, because we've seen this in a lot of different
Right.
ways, that you're putting the decision in the parents' hands for this 1 year.
Right, right.
for
And
the August
For
birthdays.
the August
The August
birthdays.
birthdays.
And the policy clearly states it doesn't take effect until 2020.
But then in 2020.
So-
Right.
Okay, then it becomes your decision, and a parent can appeal, but then you ultimately, Dr. Manarino, beginning
Yeah.
in 2021, would make the final decision.
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on what we were voting on.
Okay,
Thank you.
all righty. Is there any other discussion?
One second.
Go ahead,
Mike,
sorry.
do you think we should take that one in two separate votes to approve the policy, then to approve the administrative guideline separately, or
Well,
together?
I think you should do it together.
Okay.
Because you have some people that would not vote for the policy without the administrative guideline.
Okay,
There's also
makes
some
sense.
people that wouldn't vote, the other way.
Right.
So I think you have to have it all together
Okay.
in order to do it
All
right.
right, we're still good. All righty.
Then
Okay,
do a roll call vote, that's all.
if we need one.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so do we have a motion on the floor to approve the education items?
We do.
We're in a second.
We have a motion and a second.
Policy, I'm sorry. Okay, so we had the discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Mrs. Reed votes no.
Mrs. Reed, do you vote no on just that one particular policy or on all policies?
No, just this one,
Just the one
201.
policy. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we can move on to finance. Dr. Nolish.
Okay, thank you. I think this was a lot clearer this month. We just have our standard business. We have our general fund bills, our construction fund bills, our food service fund bills, our budget transfers, and the payroll for the month of November. So the superintendent recommends, and I so move, that we approve finance items number 1 through 5.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All righty, thank you, Dr. Nolish. We can move on to support services, and that would be Mrs. Spade.
And I have one, and it just disappeared. Wait a minute. Why do I do this?
Isn't it terrible, huh?
That the board award the bid for 50 security cameras to Staples Business Advantage in the amount of $14,512.50. Okay.
For
The
security cameras.
superintendent recommends, and I so move, that the board approve support services item 1.
Okay.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I have a
Please.
question. Where are the cameras going?
Thank you.
All over the district?
Inside and outside of our
Okay,
buildings.
Okay, because I tried to open, I couldn't get this thing to open, figure if it said where they were actually going to go. I assumed that many cameras, they're going all over the district, but, okay, thank you.
My question, and I apologize if it's out of order, but since this is a form of technology, where are we with a technology update?
I'm working on that. So Dave, Charles, and I have been working on a technology audit, for lack of a better term, that talks about our, we're doing a 5-year strategic plan for technology. So just today, we had groups of teachers in that were demoing our interactive boards as that's a piece of the classroom technology that we need to look at upgrading and moving forward with. So it's ongoing. I would think that absolutely by May, but I'm hoping for April that we'll be able to do a presentation to the board about our technology 5-year strategic plan with that. A lot of the things that we're doing are going to be involved in this year's budget, so they're going to kind of tie hand in hand with the budget, but the budgeting process and the technology audit. We surveyed the teachers. I believe the survey is due back tomorrow?
Yep.
Yeah, so we surveyed the teachers about their use of classroom technologies and their feelings about iPads, desktops, laptops for their own academic uses. So that's where we are in the process. And once we have that audit and strategic plan in place, we'll put it out there. But yeah, cameras are a part of that, so it's not out of line. Because every year, we continue to upgrade our cameras and add cameras to different places in order to help to increase the safety and security of the students inside and outside of the building.
Okay, well, that's fine and dandy. I guess the reason why I posed that particular question is it seems to me, and maybe it's just me, that as we move along, I tend to forget some of the things that we talked about 6 months earlier. So I think perhaps we should consider having updates from different kinds of committees. Athletics as an example, maybe have those, whatever makes sense, but certainly twice a year is a stretch, but at least twice a year. So we know where it is that we're going. And technology always comes to mind, one, because that was my background, but more importantly, technology changes so much, and we seem to have, tons and tons of equipment out there. And I just want to make sure we know where this is going and what our plan is as we move forward. So.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. And it's funny you say that because that was the first opinion I had as I walked into this audit with Dave Charles. And we are actually less technology items than we had 5 years ago. As different technologies are being able to be purchased that kind of capture what multiple pieces are doing or were doing. So Dave Charles has a nice job of saying our footprint expanded with technology and it's contracting. But now as we add devices into the hands of students, it's starting to grow back again because now, where the time was where the student technology was in a cart that was driven by the teachers, now the student technology is in the hands of the students. And so that's all part of the audit that we're doing. But right now, the big thing for us really is the classrooms, particularly at the high school, the middle school, McIntyre and Highcliffe, because they were the first elementary schools remodeled in the remodeling plan, have overhead projector cameras and Eno boards that are dying. And bulbs in a projector are about the price of a new projector. So we're looking at different options for that piece of technology that actually needs 3 pieces in order to operate, and we're looking to consolidate that into one item. Because now you fast forward 10 years with the changes in technology, and now you've gone to brighter and better displays than you did when we had the technology being a camera like that projecting onto a screen. So those are the things that we're doing, looking to consolidate pieces of technology that goes from an interactive board with a camera projecting to an interactive board that is a display. So that's all part of the workings, and that's what today's presentation to the teachers was about, different types of displays that they can use in their classroom. So that's where we are in that project.
Okay.
Just in terms
But,
of.
Again, I don't want to just focus on the technology. I'm thinking, and Mr. Lieberman is here, I'd like to see an update maybe, and you can react to that, if not now at some other point, maybe every few months, kind of the state of the middle school, if you will. And same thing with the high school, and maybe the elementary principals, just giving us an idea of how are we doing there, what kinds of things do you see moving forward that maybe we ought to be thinking about or focus on, something like that, so.
Yeah, I think that's a good
something
point.
to
I
think
think it's a great point, yep.
Is it too early yet, or do we have a handle on how much money it's costing us for these police officers?
What do you mean?
I mean, how much grant money did we receive? How much
Nothing
do
for
we-
the officers. We received equipment grants.
Well, did it cover all the equipment?
We are purchasing radios with the equipment grant, and it's covering the cost of the radio system.
Are we going to get a total price as to what it actually costed us for this
Sure.
year?
We can give you an actual at the end. It's going to be about $250,000, which is what we budgeted. It's actually going to be less than that because we don't have a full complement of officers that we budgeted for a full complement of officers.
Now, I hate to say this, but Halloween, I went to Westview's parade, and the officer wasn't in uniform. I believe if we have officers, they need to wear
We said from the beginning that we were not going to put them in police uniform, that it was not going to be a military-style
Well, the
police
uniforms
uniform.
we
They are
should-
in khakis and golf shirts, and that's the uniform that they are going
Right.
to wear.
They're red and white, right?
No, they have multiple colors of shirts. They have gray, black,
They're
red,
not identified
white.
North Hills or
It says
anything
North
on
Hills
it.
Police on it, and they have a
On the shirt
metallic
it does,
badge
yeah.
on the front.
Yeah.
And they have a badge, but that's it. I mean, it's not like they look like official municipal police
I mean,
officers.
you couldn't even tell that these were officers.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's the idea, to be honest with you. I mean,
Right.
it's, well, so they,
I think they should be, we should know who they are. People coming in should know who they are.
Well,
The
they
kids
do.
should know who they are.
well, the kids do. They all know them. I'm just saying
They
if,
should be identified.
yeah.
I mean, we're buying their clothes. I thought they were red and white. I thought they were white golf shirts that said
No.
North Hills.
No.
If they are performing as a school function at the parade, okay, then they should be wearing their badge.
They are.
Well, they
Then-
do, yeah.
I didn't see a badge.
Well, there is they do display a badge.
Yeah.
So they're in uniform if they have their
I
badge.
just saw them, it's a plain blue golf shirt.
Yeah, but they have a badge,
There's
the
a
badge,
badge.
it's visible, yeah, it is,
It says school police on
Yeah.
it,
it does.
on the corner,
It said
and they wear a
nothing.
badge around their
There
neck
was
usually.
nothing
Yeah,
to indicate it was police.
If they're wearing a badge, they're in uniform.
yeah. Okay, is there any other
I think we're still on support
questions?
You
services.
got to get the,
Of
did we
support
get,
them?
did Lori, did we get a motion in a second?
We have a
motion and a second, we don't have a vote.
No, I was gonna, that's why I said there's nothing else.
I just wanted to, I'm
Please.
sorry, I know this is going long, but
No, go ahead.
Mrs. Spade, is it true that the Westview vestibule is about done? Just wanted an
It's
update on that.
practically completed. They're using it. I was down there the other day. As far as I know right now, we only have one little problem. We have a cracked glass in the skylight. And I give the secretaries, the principal, and the parents a lot of credit for putting up with this for such a long, long time. And we are all thankful that it is done. Thank you.
Good news.
Thanks.
Okay, getting back to the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Are there any public comments on non-agenda items? Sure, have at, Matt, if you'd be kind enough to state your name and address for the record, please. And I guess I should read our,
You want me to read it?
please.
Okay. We would like to invite any resident, taxpayer, or employee of the North Hills School District who wishes to address the board to come forward at this time. The board does reserve the right to limit the amount of time allotted for public discussion of any particular speakers or issues. Some of your concerns can be quickly addressed following your comments, while others may require more research and discussion. When appropriate, you are welcome to further discuss your concerns with us following this meeting. We appreciate your interest. Thank you.
All right, my name is Matt Ferry. I'm at 309 Highland Pines Drive in Ross, and this is sort of a question. So on your policy 006 with the new revision, has the exception to the Sunshine Law according to the new state law. So just what's new in the policy says you can use executive session for planning, reviewing, or discussing matters related to school safety. What it says in the law is to discuss, plan, or review matters and records deemed necessary for emergency preparedness, protection, et cetera, in a manner that, if disclosed, would be reasonably likely to jeopardize or threaten public safety or preparedness or public protection. That's an important distinction from your policy, and I kind of want to just.
Matt, what law are you quoting? I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is Senate Bill. Hold on, just one second. Sorry. Senate Bill 1078.
Is that an actual law? I mean, or is it? I mean,
My understanding is that that was the bill that was.
So it's not law yet. Okay. Okay. So what you have is not law yet.
Well, okay, I may be referring to the bill that became law. I know that your edit for your policy was done in response to a new legislation. Is that not true? Do I have that wrong?
PSBA legislation.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, but I'm saying, I'm not suggesting it's not, I'm just questioning if Matt is reading from actual law or a bill that has been or is being proposed, that's all I'm saying.
Right, I was just saying that maybe he was
I think it
confused
did
because it should be the
pass.
PSBA.
Do you think the bill?
I think it did pass.
Okay.
And that's why it was enacted. And really, I considered the language to be just a shorthand of it, but, you know,
well,
you're still bound by the law regardless of what the policy
And
says.
isn't this what the PSBA recommended as far as our updates to policy to
This, yes.
confirm that we're complying with the Senate bill?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I do have the full thing, but I think
No, that's fine.
we agree that it's a law.
We did, as my colleagues said, but we did adopt what the PSBA had advised us to adopt with respect to this language. So for lack of a better understanding, I think we're in compliance based on what we're saying with the law, because it wasn't our, per se, it wasn't our verbiage that we put in there. It was verbiage from our counsel at PSBA.
Yeah, and I don't exactly have any problem with the wording of the policy. I do note that the PSBA is, out for the interests of school boards, not for the interest of the public. But I guess what I want to say is that there are more restrictions on you than your policy suggests, and it is my hope, and I kind of want to ask you, for your take on this, that the board will not use this as an opportunity to discuss all security-related matters in executive session, because that's inappropriate, and in fact, I'm not an attorney, but it appears to me not consistent with the Sunshine Act. So, it seems to me that the majority, probably the vast majority of discussions related to security would be matters of public record. If you've somehow had some security problem that maybe wasn't evident to a somewhat more than casual observer and you didn't know how to fix it and it was going to be a while, that would be something that you would not want to publicize. I completely understand that. That's a good reason for this new law. But for the most part, I would hope that you would continue to discuss things in open session. And I want to ask if you kind of agree with that thinking generally.
No, we do. I don't think there's anything, I mean, if it comes to certain, obviously, security measures where we were enacting some, for whatever reason, I don't know, I can't think of anything at the moment, but maybe putting cameras that nobody knows where they are for a specific reason, that we wouldn't want to tip people off where things like that I can imagine, or if there's some investigation going on, so to speak. But other than that, I mean, I think, I think we're on board with.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, since it's a newly enacted law,
Right.
there's no like guidance as to,
Right.
What is appropriate to discuss publicly versus what is appropriate to discuss privately. But I certainly personally would endeavor to comply with the Sunshine Law with respect to whatever is discussed, both privately and publicly, going forward, in light of the new law and the security concerns of the
Right.
district.
Yeah.
That's great. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Okay, there being none, I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
Meeting adjourned, thank you.
Good Sandy.